I'm about to tell you something that will make you angry. You're probably already rich. You just don't know it yet. While everyone's looking for get-rich-quick schemes and lottery tickets, they're missing the real signs of wealth building. Signs that are invisible to most people. Signs that predict wealth years before it shows up in your bank account. I spent 10 years studying people who built wealth from nothing. Not trust fund kids, not lottery winners. Regular people who somehow created extraordinary wealth. And I discovered something that shocked me. They all had the same 10 invisible patterns years before they became wealthy. Patterns that their friends missed. Patterns that their families ignored. Patterns that even they didn't recognize. If you have these signs, you're not just on the path to wealth. You're already wealthy in the ways that matter most. The money is just catching up to your mindset. But here's what will blow your mind. Most people with these signs think they're failing financially. They look at their current bank account and feel like they're behind. They don't realize they're actually years ahead of everyone else. Count how many of these signs you recognize in yourself. Don't cheat. Be brutally honest. At the end, I'll tell you exactly what your number means and why it predicts your financial future. Sign number 1. You feel physical pain. When people waste money, this isn't about being cheap or judgmental. This is something deeper. When you watch someone make a terrible financial decision, you literally feel uncomfortable. Your stomach tightens, your jaw clenches, something inside you recoils. Your friend finances a $60,000 truck while living paycheck to paycheck. Your sister puts a vacation on credit cards when she has no emergency fund. Your coworker leases a BMW when they're drowning in student debt. You don't just think it's a bad idea, you feel it in your body, like watching someone about to walk into traffic. I worked with a client named Marcus who described this perfectly. He said, "When I see people spending money they don't have on things they don't need, I get the same feeling I get watching a horror movie. I know something bad is about to happen." That physical reaction, that's your wealth consciousness already fully developed. Your brain has learned to see money as life energy, not just paper. You understand that every dollar wasted is a piece of freedom thrown away. Most people see money as renewable, like it just keeps coming no matter how they spend it. But you see money as finite. You know that wasted money today means less options tomorrow. This isn't about being perfect with money. Wealthy people make expensive purchases too. But they feel the weight of those decisions. They understand opportunity cost instinctively. Poor people ask, "Can I afford this?" Middle-class people ask, "What are the monthly payments?" Wealthy people ask, "What else could I do with this money?" If you're already asking that third question, you think like a wealthy person. Stop and think honestly. In the last month, how many times did you feel that physical discomfort watching someone waste money? If it's happened more than twice, you have this sign. Count it. Sign number 2. You learn things you'll never get paid for. This is where it gets interesting. You have this weird compulsion to understand how things work, even when there's no immediate benefit to you. You read about industries you're not in. You watch documentaries about topics that have nothing to do with your job. Last month, you spent 3 hours watching videos about how supply chains work, not because you work in logistics, but because you were curious. You read an article about the psychology of pricing, even though you're not in marketing. Your friends think you're weird. "Why do you need to know that?" they ask. "It's not going to help you." But here's what they don't understand. Wealth comes from connecting dots that other people can't see, and you can't connect dots you don't have. I know a woman who became a millionaire because she understood both real estate and technology. Not deeply, just enough to spot an opportunity that tech people missed and real estate people ignored. She started reading about prop tech 5 years before it became huge. not because she planned to work in it, but because she was curious about how technology was changing every industry. When she saw the gap in the market, she was the only person in her network who understood both sides well enough to build a bridge. That curiosity made her rich. Most people stay in their lane. They learn only what they need for their current job. But wealth lives at the intersections between industries, between ideas, between seemingly unrelated concepts. If you're constantly learning things that have no immediate payoff, you're building a database of possibilities. You're preparing for opportunities that don't exist yet. Quick test. In the last 2 weeks, what's something you learned just because you were curious? Not for work, not for a project, just because your brain wanted to understand it. If you can think of something, you have this sign. Sign number 3. You automatically calculate the real cost of everything. This is going to sound crazy, but you probably do this without realizing it. When someone tells you about a purchase, your brain automatically calculates what that money could have become if it was invested instead. Your friend brags about spending $4,000 on a vacation. While they're showing you photos, your brain is thinking, that's $40,000 in retirement money. They see memories, you see opportunity cost. This isn't about being a buzzkill. This is about seeing time and money as connected. You understand that money spent today steals time from your future self. I met a guy who explained this perfectly. He said, I don't buy expensive coffee not because I can't afford $5. I don't buy it because I can afford $5 every day for 30 years, and I'd rather have the $100,000. He wasn't being extreme. He was being mathematical. He understood compound interest not just intellectually, but emotionally. He could feel the weight of compound growth in every spending decision. Most people think about money in terms of what they can afford today. You think about money in terms of what it costs you tomorrow. That's a completely different relationship with wealth. This doesn't mean you never spend money. It means when you do spend money, you feel the real cost. You understand what you're trading, and sometimes the trade is worth it, but you always know what you're giving up. If you've ever caught yourself thinking, that's not just $500, that's $500 that could grow to $2,000, you have this sign. Your brain is already wired for wealth building. Think about the last expensive thing someone told you they bought. Did your brain automatically calculate what else that money could have done? If yes, count this sign. Sign number 4, you're comfortable being misunderstood. This might be the most important sign, and it's the one that causes the most problems in relationships. You make decisions that look weird to other people. You prioritize things that others don't understand. You drive an old car while your friends lease new ones. You live in a modest apartment while your co-workers buy houses they can barely afford. You skip expensive dinners and use that money to invest in yourself or your future. People think you're cheap. They think you don't know how to enjoy life. They think you're missing out. But you're not cheap. You're strategic. You're not missing out on life. You're building the foundation for a much better life. And you're comfortable letting them think whatever they want to think. This comfort with being misunderstood is crucial for wealth building because wealth building decisions often look stupid to people who don't understand delayed gratification. I knew a woman who lived like a college student for 15 years while she built her investment portfolio. Her family constantly criticized her. They said she was wasting her life, that she should live a little. At 35, she retired, not because she was old, but because her investments were generating enough passive income to support the lifestyle she actually wanted. While her critics were still making car payments, she was traveling the world. The ability to be misunderstood is a superpower. It means you can make decisions based on logic and long-term thinking instead of social pressure and immediate gratification. If you're comfortable looking poor while you build wealth, if you can handle people thinking you're weird for your financial choices, you have the mental strength that wealth building requires. Ask yourself this: in the last year, how many times did you make a financial decision that you knew other people wouldn't understand? If it's more than once, you have this sign. Sign number 5. You see systems instead of events. Walk into any business, and while most people see the product or service, you see the machine behind it. You notice the workflow, the bottlenecks, the inefficiencies. You automatically think about how things could be improved. You go to a restaurant and immediately notice that the kitchen is backing up orders because they're missing a prep station. You use an app and spot 3 ways the user experience could be smoother. You see a successful business and reverse engineer why it works. This isn't about being critical. This is about seeing patterns and systems that others miss completely. I worked with a client who became wealthy doing exactly this. He was working in a warehouse, but instead of just focusing on his job, he was studying how the entire operation worked. He noticed that they were losing money on returns because damaged items were going back into regular inventory instead of being marked down and sold separately. He created a system that saved the company hundreds of thousands of dollars. That observation got him promoted to operations manager, then to regional director. Then he started his own logistics consulting company, all because he saw systems where others saw chaos. Wealth comes from solving problems that others don't even notice exist. If you're constantly seeing ways things could work better, you're seeing opportunities to create value. Most people look at successful businesses and think they're so lucky. You look at successful businesses and think, I can see exactly why they're successful and what they could do differently. This systems thinking is what separates employees from entrepreneurs, consumers from creators, people who work in businesses from people who build businesses. Test this right now. Think about the last business you visited. Can you identify one specific thing they could do to serve customers better or operate more efficiently? If yes, your brain is already operating at an entrepreneurial level. Sign number 6. You'd rather be respected than liked. This is going to make some people uncomfortable, but it's crucial. You've learned that being liked and being respected are different things, and when you have to choose between them, you choose respect every time. You'll tell people the truth even when they don't want to hear it. You'll stick to your principles even when it costs you socially. You'll make unpopular decisions if you believe they're right. This isn't about being difficult or stubborn. This is about having integrity that can't be bought or bent. Wealthy people understand that respect creates opportunities that popularity never can. People might not always like you, but if they respect your judgment, your work ethic, and your character, they'll want to do business with you. I know a business owner who explained this perfectly. He said, I'd rather have 5 people who respect me completely than 50 people who like me casually. Respect builds businesses. Popularity builds nothing. He was right. The people who respected him became his biggest clients, his best employees, his most valuable partners. The people who just liked him were nowhere to be found when things got difficult. If you're willing to be disliked for doing the right thing, if you care more about your reputation than your popularity, you have the backbone that wealth building requires. Building wealth requires making decisions that other people don't understand or approve of. If you need everyone to like you, you'll never make those decisions. Think about this honestly. Would you rather have people think you're fun and easygoing, or would you rather have people think you're competent and trustworthy? Your answer reveals whether you have this wealth mindset. Sign number 7. You feel guilty during unproductive time. This doesn't mean you're a workaholic or that you can't relax. It means that when you spend too much time on entertainment or activities that don't move you forward, you start feeling restless. Your friends can binge watch Netflix for an entire weekend without feeling weird about it. You can watch maybe 2 episodes before your brain starts thinking about projects you could be working on, skills you could be developing, problems you could be solving. You feel most alive when you're building something, learning something, or creating value. I had a client who described this perfectly. She said, "I can enjoy vacation for about 4 days. After that, I start feeling anxious, not because I don't like relaxing, but because I miss the feeling of progress." This internal drive to be productive is what separates wealth builders from everyone else. Most people work because they have to. You feel pulled to work because creating value gives your life meaning. This doesn't mean you're addicted to work. It means you understand that your time and energy are precious resources. Wasting them feels wrong because you know what you're capable of creating. Wealthy people don't see work and life as separate things. They see both as part of creating a meaningful existence. If you feel that same integration, if productivity energizes you instead of draining you, you have this sign. That guilt you feel during unproductive time isn't a problem. It's your wealth consciousness telling you that you're meant for more than average entertainment and average results. Quick reality check. When you have a completely free day with no obligations, what happens first? Do you feel excited about the freedom or slightly uncomfortable about the emptiness? Your honest answer reveals this sign. Sign number 8. You collect skills like other people collect things. While most people spend their disposable income on stuff, you spend yours on capabilities. You buy courses, books, experiences, and coaching. You invest in becoming more valuable rather than owning more things. Your friends spend money on new clothes, gadgets, and entertainment. You spend money on learning how to code, understanding investing, developing leadership skills, or mastering communication. They think you're being boring. You know you're being strategic. Every skill you develop becomes a tool you can use to create value for the rest of your life. Everything you buy becomes an expense that takes money out of your pocket every month. I know a woman who spent $5,000 on a copywriting course while her friends were buying designer bags. 3 years later, those copywriting skills were earning her 6 figures annually as a freelancer. Her friends' bags were worth maybe half what they paid for them. Her skills were worth 10 times what she paid to learn them, and they kept growing in value every year. If you get more excited about learning a new skill than buying a new thing, if you see education as investment rather than expense, you understand how wealth is really built. Things depreciate, skills appreciate. If you're naturally drawn to building capabilities over accumulating possessions, you have a wealth-building mindset that most people never develop. Look at your spending from the last 6 months. What percentage went to developing skills versus buying things? If skills got more than 20%, you have this sign. Sign number 9. You're genuinely happy when others succeed. This might sound simple, but it's actually rare and incredibly powerful. When someone you know gets promoted, starts a successful business, or achieves a financial goal, your first reaction is genuine excitement for them. You don't feel jealous. You don't think, why them and not me? You don't look for reasons why they don't deserve it. You see their success as proof that success is possible. This abundance mindset is wealth-building gold. Why? Because successful people want to associate with other people who celebrate success. They avoid people who are threatened by achievement or who make them feel guilty for doing well. When you're genuinely happy for others' success, successful people notice. They feel comfortable sharing opportunities with you. They introduce you to other successful people. They become invested in your success too. I've seen this pattern hundreds of times. The people who celebrate others' wins end up creating the strongest networks, getting the best opportunities, and building the most sustainable wealth. but it goes deeper than networking. When you're genuinely happy for others' success, it means you believe there's enough success to go around. You operate from abundance rather than scarcity. Scarcity thinking keeps people poor because it makes them protective, competitive, and isolated. Abundance thinking creates wealth because it makes you collaborative, generous, and connected. Think about the last time someone you know achieved something significant. What was your honest first reaction? If it was excitement rather than envy, you have this wealth-building mindset. Sign number 10. You understand that rich and wealthy are different things. This is the most sophisticated sign, and it separates people who will build lasting wealth from people who will just make a lot of money and lose it. You understand that rich means having a high income. Wealthy means having assets that generate income without your direct involvement. Rich is about cash flow. Wealthy is about cash flow that doesn't require you to keep working. Most people want to get rich. You want to get wealthy. This understanding changes everything about how you make decisions. Instead of just trying to earn more money, you focus on building systems that will earn money for you. You'd rather own a small percentage of something valuable than get paid a high salary for trading your time. You think in terms of equity, ownership, and passive income, instead of just hourly wages or annual salaries. I know doctors making $400,000 a year who are less wealthy than janitors who own rental properties. The doctors have high incomes, but no time freedom. The janitors have passive income and complete control over their schedules. If you understand this distinction, if you're more interested in building assets than increasing income, you have the most important wealth-building insight that most people never learn. Rich people work for money. Wealthy people make money work for them. If you're already thinking about how to make money work for you, you're thinking like a wealthy person. Final question for this sign. When you imagine your ideal financial future, do you picture a high-paying job or do you picture passive income that covers your expenses? Your answer reveals whether you truly understand wealth. Now let's count your score and see what it means. How many of these signs did you honestly recognize in yourself? Don't count the ones you wish you had. Don't count the ones you kind of have. Only count the ones that made you think, yes, that's definitely me. If you scored 8 to 10, you're not just on the path to wealth. You are wealthy in every way except the bank account numbers. Your mindset, habits, and thinking patterns are completely aligned with wealth creation. The money is coming. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. If you scored 5 to 7, you have strong wealth-building potential, but there are some areas to develop. Focus on the signs you don't have yet. Each one you develop will accelerate your financial progress significantly. If you scored 2 to 4, you're thinking more like middle class than wealthy, but that's not a problem. Now you know exactly what to work on. These aren't just signs that predict wealth. They're signs that create wealth. If you scored 0 to 1, you might be focused on the wrong things entirely, but that's okay too. Awareness is the first step to change. Now you know what wealthy thinking actually looks like. But here's what's really important to understand. These signs aren't just predictions, they're instructions. Every single one of these patterns can be developed. Every single one of these mindsets can be learned. You're not stuck with the score you got today. The difference between wealthy people and everyone else isn't luck, inheritance, or being in the right place at the right time. It's thinking differently, acting differently, prioritizing differently. If you have these signs, even if your bank account doesn't reflect it yet, you're already different. You're already operating from a wealth consciousness that most people never develop. The wealthy version of yourself isn't some future fantasy. It already exists in your mind, your habits, and your decision-making patterns. Now it's just a matter of time before the external world catches up to your internal reality. But time isn't the only factor. Action is the bridge between having a wealthy mindset and having a wealthy bank account. So here's what I want you to do right now. Pick the one sign that resonated most strongly with you, the one that made you think, yes, this is exactly how I think. Focus on that strength and use it to guide your next financial decision. Then pick the one sign that you wish you had but don't quite have yet. That's your next area for development. Work on building that pattern into your daily thinking. Comment below with 2 things, your total score and which sign surprised you most. This helps me understand what resonates with people and what challenges they're facing. And if this video opened your eyes to wealth signs you didn't know you had, share it with someone who needs this perspective. Share it with someone who thinks they're behind financially but might actually be ahead mentally. Remember, the stock market can crash, real estate can decline, businesses can fail, but a wealth mindset, once developed, creates opportunities wherever it goes. These signs aren't just about money, they're about freedom. They're about having choices. They're about living life on your own terms instead of being trapped by circumstances. If you have these signs, that life isn't just possible for you, it's inevitable. The wealthy version of yourself already exists. Now you just need to give it time to emerge. But don't just wait for it to happen. These signs are your roadmap. Each one tells you exactly what to focus on, exactly what to develop, exactly what to prioritize. If you feel uncomfortable when people waste money, trust that instinct. Use it to guide your own financial decisions and to help others make better choices. If you're always learning new things, lean into that curiosity. The connections you make between different ideas will become the foundation of your wealth-building opportunities. If you automatically calculate opportunity costs, use that mathematical thinking to guide your investments and spending decisions. If you're comfortable being misunderstood, use that strength to make unpopular decisions that will pay off in the long run. If you see systems instead of events, start looking for business opportunities in those system gaps you notice. If you'd rather be respected than liked, build your reputation as someone who delivers results and tells the truth. If you feel guilty during unproductive time, channel that energy into building something meaningful with your life. If you collect skills instead of things, keep investing in your capabilities and watch how they compound over time. If you're genuinely happy when others succeed, use that abundance mindset to build networks and partnerships that benefit everyone. And if you understand the difference between rich and wealthy, focus on building assets and passive income instead of just chasing higher salaries. Your wealthy future isn't a dream. It's not a hope. It's not a maybe. It's a prediction based on how you already think, act, and make decisions. The signs are already there. The foundation is already built. Now it's just a matter of time and consistent action. Don't let anyone tell you that wealth is about luck or connections or being born into the right family. Wealth is about mindset. It's about seeing opportunities that others miss. It's about making decisions that others won't make. It's about thinking in ways that others refuse to think. And if you have these signs, you're already doing all of that. You're already thinking like a wealthy person. The money is just catching up to your mind. So be patient with the process, but impatient with the action. Your wealthy future is closer than you think. Much closer than you think. Now go make it happen.